And welcome back. Well, this has been a challenging year, and now more than ever, you should take a look at your finances, taxes, and make sure you're all set with estate planning. Al Spiegel is with a partner. He is with McClary, Helm, Bertling and Spiegel, and he joins us with some things to consider as we say so long to 2020. Good morning to you, Al.
Good morning, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, I think people do. They want 2020 to be over, but they should not let it pass without getting some things in order. So I do want to talk a little bit about estate planning and what people should consider when they think about their taxes, because that needs to matter before the end of the year.
Absolutely, and I really think one of the first things we should think about is when we get our taxes done. A lot of us don't do our taxes till March or April, but the period of time that we're talking about with taxes is the calendar year. So we want to think about what our income was during this 2020, and it might be different than it was before. It might have gone up, we might have switched jobs, it might be down, and that income is going to affect what kind of decisions we're going to make with charitable giving now in a potentially a big way.
Well, that's true, and I think that's, you know, at the end of the year, a lot of people are thinking about that charitable giving, so I think that's an important conversation. Why though should people consider updating their beneficiaries this time of year?
Well, the first reason is it's a good time just to kind of clean house and make sure everything's in order. The second reason is my experience is when I convince my clients to go and update their beneficiaries, it is not at all unusual that the people that they've listed as beneficiaries are completely different from the people they thought they listed as beneficiaries. And then in some cases, the financial institution has lost or misplaced the beneficiary designations. A lot of times, you know, one bank switches to another bank and everything gets lost. So it's just good to go in there and make sure it says what it's supposed to say and you like what it says.
Well, I think another place that rings true is the healthcare power of attorney. I know I did mine several years ago and it's changed. So people should take a look at that too.
Absolutely, they should. And the third place I would suggest is those of us who have young kids, if we've named guardians for our kids, it's not at all unusual for me to review those papers with folks, whether it's a will or a trust, and say, oh, well, here's who you've named as guardians, and have the people go, oh, no, we haven't talked to those people in years. We need to get that up to date. So that's another one we want to put our eyes on and make sure it says what we think it says.
Yeah, and even when we think of the healthcare power of attorney too. I think a lot of people are thinking about COVID. You know, they're thinking if they're in the hospital, if they get put on a vent. But this is important in any situation, like a car accident or anything else as well, right?
Absolutely, or even if we're getting a procedure done and someone needs to contact, you know, there needs to be a decision made during a procedure. We have, you know, we got some kind of reaction that needs to be managed. We want to make sure those papers are on file so that our decisions can get made by the people that we want making them.
You know, here's one thing I think people feel is that when they do these papers, it's sort of a one and done. It's kind of, I got that done, it's taken care of, I can set it aside. But this is not something that people should just set aside. How often do you recommend that people are updating these papers?
I tell people every 5 to 7 years for a couple of reasons. First of all, my experience is that banks and financial institutions and hospitals tend to get concerned once a document gets 5 to 7 years old that it's not up to date. Now this I'm talking about powers of attorney in particular. And then the second reason is 5 to 7 years is about the timeline at which I'm going to start forgetting what a document says, or I might kind of replace in my mind something that hasn't changed on the paperwork. So it's just a good time to blow the dust off, see what it says, and decide if you need to make some new decisions about things.
I personally feel it's so important. I remember when my father was in the hospital, he didn't have a power of attorney, and they ended up filling out the paperwork in the hospital in a situation that wasn't beneficial, I think, to him in the long run. And so I just feel like it's so important for people to do that. When you meet with people, what is it like? What happens if someone contacts you for some of these papers to get them in order?
Well, what usually happens is a person comes in after months or years of kind of stressing about it and being anxious about it and wondering what the meeting is going to be like. And then they come in and they tell me what they want to accomplish. This just happened yesterday. They come in and say, well, here's what we want to do. And I say, okay, we can do that. Because most people don't have extremely complex ideas of what they want to have happen. So we sit down, talk through their goals. They tell me what they're thinking. If I have any concerns with that, I let them know. But otherwise, we put the papers together, especially for powers of attorney. The question is, who do you want making financial decisions, and who do you want making medical decisions? And if they can tell me that, I can generate the documents, and at the end of a pretty short process, they say, wow, that was so easy. I don't know why I didn't do it 10 years ago.
I agree. It is really easy. You've got this no-cost virtual year-end estate planning seminar coming up. Why do you want people to attend, and what will they get from it?
Sure. What we're going to do is we're going to spend about an hour. I'm going to just be on a Zoom meeting, and we're going to talk about here's the basics of estate planning, and then for those folks who attend, I'll be able to answer some questions about what specifically is going on that they need to know about. And really, my hope is this is an opportunity to educate people and hopefully to encourage people to get some things up to date that they might not have otherwise done.
I think it's great because it's not intimidating. It's easy to do. So I'm going to give everybody the information. Thanks for joining me today, Al.
My pleasure. Have a good one, Tiffany.
You too. Good to see you. And don't wait until something happens to review your estate or create one. Register for the free estate planning webinar to give yourself confidence and security. It's free. They're happening on Wednesday, December 16th at noon, and then Thursday, December 17th at 5:30 p.m. and Sunday, December 20th at 6 p.m. These are going to be interactive sessions with time for questions. All you do is register at their Facebook event page at McClario Law. For every 5 people who attend, the McClario firm is going to donate a gift to a child in need this holiday season. Their goal is to help 50 children, so tell your friends. They want lots of you to attend. If you've got other questions for the attorneys at McClario, Helm, Bertling, and Spiegel, just give them a call. It's 262-251-4210 or go to McClario.com. You can see they make it easy.